In this TABS battle, we are gonna get an answer to the question, what was the strongest army from World War II? To answer this question, we have the German army. We also have the Soviets, as well as the French army. Also making it into the list is the Polish army, followed up by the American army. We then have the Imperial Japanese, and of course the British Empire. And then last, and actually quite possibly least, we have the Italian army. And each of these World War II nations is gonna be fighting in a tournament to find out who was the best. Now, this is going to be a knockout tournament, and the first two World War II factions that will be fighting today is going to be the German army versus the Imperial Japanese army. Now, the Germans are going to be specializing in panzers, as well as MG42s and also an SS division on the back lines. But they do also have some chumps behind each one of the panzers, and then we do have a panzer maintenance crew right in the middle here. As for the Japanese, they're going to be focusing on artillery and anti-tank. So they've got these two positions over here, as well as another two guns over here. We've of course got our Banzai boys out the front here who are going to be charging into those panzers. We have our standard Imperial Japanese infantry over here, some of which have bayonets. And then last but not least, the Imperial Japanese snipers that hide in the trees and bushes are of course going to be making an appearance. Who's going to win this first battle? Is it going to be the German army, or is it going to be the Japanese? And whoever wins this battle goes through to the next round. So let's find out who that's going to be. All right, it looks like the panzers are lining up their shots. Let's see who they're going to go for. It looks like they've gone for these guys right away. No bombs being dropped in the middle. Not today. Not for this guy here. Also looks like a big tank shell landing in the back of this infantry formation. A bit of artillery coming in. Panzer still very much alive. I tell a lie, one panzer has gone down to these guns over here, and it looks like that bomb actually just got shot into a different direction. It looks like both gun positions over on this side are down. We only have one remaining Japanese gun placement over here, and the majority of the Japanese infantry in the middle is also down. So we have these snipers in the back, but they have left the camouflage and cover and protection they had before, and they are now going to be annihilated by the panzers of the German army. And it looks like the German army made a swift end to the Japanese, and the Germans are going to be the very first faction moving through to the second round of battles. Let's see who's next. The next battle is of course going to be the USSR, and they are going to be fighting the French. As for the Soviet strategy, you probably already realize what's happening here. We're going to have the wall of meat, the Soviet Ura charge, and as you can see, not all of these infantry soldiers even have rifles. However, they do have some shock troopers over on this side here with armor and PPSHs. These guys are definitely going to add in a little bit of spice. And then last but not least, we have the Russian officers, which will be helping to provide some artillery support. As for the French defenders, they have gone for a much more modest defense right here with 3 positioned guns, but they have actually called in the support of the French Foreign Legion. So there will not be nearly as many of them, but they are going to be much higher quality soldiers. Amongst them, of course, is going to be the French officers, which once again will be providing artillery support alongside the support of these guns, which are going to be firing in at the wall of meat the Russians are about to throw at the French army. Let's see which army is going to make it to the next round of World War II battles. This one is going to be a bloodbath. All right, here we go. The charge has been called, and the wall of meat goes sailing in, but as you can see, the guns and the French Foreign Legion and the artillery support there, all of the guys who did not have rifles. I mean, that guy's jumped for the kill, but I think he's about to be friendly fired. The French Foreign Legion actually getting totally caught up by these Russians, and oh no, it looks like the shock troopers are in, and it also looks like the majority of these French guns have actually already been taken down, and the French Foreign Legion really not doing too well here. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, there's still quite a lot of shock troopers over here. The French Foreign Legion, these guys have got to deal with them fast. The artillery support is definitely coming into support, but it looks like the Russian officers have also now made it in, and you can see some Russian artillery now coming down on the French Foreign Legion. Interestingly, we do still have one more gun remaining back here for the French, and let's see what that's going to do. Trying to hit these shock troopers, but unfortunately not quite making it in, and it looks like the officers are out on the front line, but they have just been chopped down. Oh, it does look like that gun emplacements managed to get some shock shots in, but it is basically just him and one more Foreign Legion soldier, and I think he has just gone down. And there we go. It looks like this officer, this shock trooper, and a whole bunch of Russian chods has taken the USSR through to the next round of this TABS tournament. And next up, we have the Italian army versus the British army and the Commonwealth. Now, for the Brits, we've got a bunch of illegal war crime gas cannons right here. For some reason, I decided to add these in. I'm not really sure what this guy's trying to load his gun with, but let's just breeze past that. Behind them, we have a bunch of normal Commonwealth soldiers, which are going to run in through the gas and try and take down those Italians. Now, over on this side here, we have a bunch of paratroopers led by a major. Also, over on this side, we've had a bunch of Royal Marines doing amphibious landing over here, and they are now going to enter the city from yet another position. Now, as for the Italians, they have a massive defender's advantage. We've got snipers over here, snipers up on the rooftops, and in every single position, except from this one down here. I'm not sure what's happened there. Now, we also have a bunch of gun positions that are tucked away in the corners, like so. Now, whilst the Italian army was prepared for the British invasion, they didn't know it was quite as soon as this. So you can see these guys, these Italian infantry, are just running out of this door, and the same thing over here. They are just about to join the front line. So let's find out who's gonna win this World War II battle and move to the next round of battles. But unfortunately for the Italians, they've got a small head, which basically means certain death. Alright, here we go. Let the battle commence. Out the gas cannons, and the Commonwealth soldiers go. But wow, oh my god, it looks like a bunch of these Italian soldiers just got team killed by their own cannon back here. And let's have a quick look over here. The Royal Marines are getting up into the battle, but it looks like they're actually being killed pretty quickly by this infantry. Now, it looks like there's a complete gas cloud being put up by the British, and all of the British soldiers, including the Commonwealth, have gone into it. And the paratroopers have managed to get up top. Somehow they managed to get up top and have managed to take down a couple of these sniper positions. Yeah, a lot of these snipers still fully operational. Some of the snipers being shot off the roof. And yes, TABS doing some more TABS gameplay right here, with this guy smashing his own head into a concrete wall. It wouldn't be totally accurate battle simulator if your guy did not literally merge into a wall every single battle you do. I'm sorry, but you cannot be helped now. This is your existence now. Why are these guys just smashing this corpse? He's dead, guys. Leave him alone. And it looks like there is only one sniper left for the Italians. And oh my god, is this guy? I can't believe that just happened. This guy just jumped up, got his head stuck in a wall, and now he's going to get shot and killed. And now we've just got this view for the rest of this battle. And all of these guys down here are trying to get to him, but they can't get him. And whilst there is no official end to this battle, I'm actually going to give the win to the British, because look how many of them are down here, and there's only one single unit who looks to be just a little bit stuck. So going through to the next round is the British Commonwealth. Next up, we've got the US Army versus the Polish Army. Now, the Poles are going to be specializing in majority-based cavalry, but they do also have a 7 TP. Over here, they have a bunch of their chod conscripts with an officer out front. These guys are not particularly well trained, but then we do have our elite soldiers over here, many of whom who have fought in multiple battles throughout multiple wars. These guys have experience, and they are going to be tough to take down. Now, as for the Americans, you can probably guess they've got a mix of infantry, including some bars. They've got some Thompsons, M1 Garands. They've also got some bazooka infantry. We have our major down the back, but the Americans are going to be specializing in heavy equipment, by which I mean they're going to have a big old tank. They've got a bunch of LMGs out front. They've also got some artillery, and then on top of that, bear in mind, they've also got a big selection of bazookas down the back as well. These guys really are packing a lot of heavy equipment. Now let's find out who's gonna win this battle. Is it gonna be the US Army, or is it going to be the Polish Army? Well, I feel like this opening cavalry charge is gonna give us some idea. Wow. Oh my god, that poor cavalry. Oh, and that's the last one. Oh no, sorry, we got one brave soldier. Let's see. Oh my god, he has gone down. The equipment and the technological advantage the US Army had there was just overwhelming and quite realistic in reality. I think actually what did a lot of the back work there wasn't even the tank. I mean, you can see it definitely was doing some work. I think a lot of the kills came from these artillery guns here and the conventional rocket artillery that's coming in from the back of the map here. And you can just see the devastation. So there we go. It looks like the US Army is going to be progressing to the next round of these TABS World War II battles. Now at this point, all 8 nations have fought and we have 4 victorious factions. In the very first battle, the Germans were victorious, and in the second battle, the USSR was victorious. So now they are going to fight one another to see who goes through to the final. Now it's important to note that the strategies and army deployment used in the battles is going to remain consistent throughout all of these battles. So you can see once again the Germans are going to be having their panzer divisions with MG42s, a couple of chumps out back, then some panzer crews back here. Then we of course have the SS officers, some SS elite soldiers here, and then also some of the youth back there. Once again, to keep it consistent for the USSR, we have a bunch of the Urad charge boys here who are just going to throw themselves at the panzers. We then of course have the shock troopers that were so useful against the French. And then last but not least, we once again have the Russian officers. So let's see who's going to go through to the final. Is it going to be the USSR or is it going to be the Germans? Let's put them to the test. Alright, here we go. Something tells me this initial shot is going to be savage. Look at the Urad charge going down here. The shock troopers moving in very quickly. We've lost the panzer already. We do have some artillery coming in. Let's see how much damage these shock troopers can do. Oh my god, they've just been annihilated right there. But it looks like all 3 panzers are down and the shock troopers are moving in, but the artillery support coming down on top of them. Oh my god, almost all the shock troopers. It looks like the last shock trooper is down. We do have the Russian officers moving in, calling in some counter battery artillery fire. But as you can see, it looks like the SS are on the push here. And also, what is happening over here? What on earth is happening over here? I have never seen this before. This panzer crewman is actually carrying the corpse of one of the SA guys. What is happening here? I've never seen this before. He's carrying a corpse into battle. How did that even happen? But there we go. There is our answer. It looks like the Germans managed to push back the Russians and have secured themselves a spot in the final of this World War II best army competition. Now for the next fight, the winner of the third battle in the first round of battles was of course the British Commonwealth. And then the winner of the fourth battle was the US Army. So now we are gonna have ourselves the most controversial battle so far. Now for the Brits, we're once again sticking to the same strategy we did last time. Once again, we got these gas boys loading up the cannons with some questionable ammunition. And as you can see, we of course have the Commonwealth soldiers here to help out. Now the Green Beret Royal Marines with their officer unit have come out of the catacombs. They swam underground in a labyrinth of tunnel networks that were waterlogged. As for the paratroopers, the paras actually managed to land in the city and they're making their way down the staircase to join the battle. Now the Americans are going to have the exact same strategy they had last time. They've once again got a bunch of heavy machine guns as well as their artillery down the back over here, and they once again have their tank unit and their major unit. Now these guys once again going to be packing some bars, some Thompsons, some M1 Garands, the whole shebang. So once again the Brits are going for quality with limited manpower and the Americans are going for heavy expensive machinery. Let's see who makes it into the final versus the German army. Alright, the initial shots coming in from the Commonwealth over here and down these guys go, but it looks like the Americans have returned fire. Some of the rockets have actually missed though. Commonwealth soldiers not doing too well in the middle here. Loads of them dead, particularly with artillery coming in. Let's see how these guys down here do. Can they? Oh, Royal Marines all murdered in one go. And it looks like the leftovers down here of the British Commonwealth also being sent to another dimension. It looks like it's all down to the British paratroopers, but they are not to be underestimated. Can they get in there and do enough damage? I just don't know. It looks like the Americans are thin on the ground. They've got one artillery piece. They've got one tank left. and they've not got a tank left anymore. But let's see, there's only a couple of British paratroopers left. They are elite, but are they elite enough? In fact, actually, this is really close. This still could go either way. There's only a handful of units left on either side, and oh my god, would you look at that? It looks like the paratroopers, this guy back here fist pumping, and I can already hear the bitter crying comments down below. Oh, this would never have happened in real life. And into the final of this TABS World War II tournament we go. We have the German army here, and fighting them for top dog is going to be the British Commonwealth. For the Brits, we once again have the same strategy. We have all of these cannoners with gas down the back here, and on top of that, all of the Commonwealth soldiers. Now we have the exact same thing over here. It's just a slightly different formation aiming in. Now we once again have the British officer and the paratroopers down the back here. These guys are going to be storming through the center. Now on the far side, all the way over here, we've had an amphibious landing back here where the Royal Marines have landed once again with their officer. This time, let's hope these guys don't immediately get murdered, and they're going to come storming in here up against the panzers. And once again, we have the same panzer formation with 4 MG42s out the front here, some chod just behind the tanks using them for cover. We then once again have the panzer crewmen back here, and then the SS officer, the SS soldiers, and also the youth back here also. And remember, it's all to play for. This is a TABS World War II tournament, and we're trying to figure out which is the strongest faction in World War II using the totally accurate battle simulator. Alright, here we go. The initial shots coming in. Once again, the panzers putting in the hurt down here, and most of these guys have been killed, but the artillery going in, and it looks like we have lost the lead panzer. MG42s holding up the front line here, absolutely gunning down this middle section, but in the paratroopers go. Let's see how much damage these guys can do. It looks like another panzer's down. It looks like the far side panzer also down. Let's see if these paratroopers can somehow survive against these MG42s, or whether or not, okay, it looks like the paratroopers were actually put down. So it looks like we have got, oh no, we've got the Royal Marines over here. Are the Royal Marines going to be able to stop the SS? That's the question here, actually, because most of the Commonwealth soldiers, as you can see, are dying. And look at that guy's death animation. Yeah, only a handful of Commonwealth soldiers left here, but we still have the MG42s, the majority of the youth. And then on top of that, oh my god, yeah, no, okay, I kind of expected this to happen, to be honest. It looks like the German army has taken the title of the top dog, and they were not against easy opponents. Remember, the Germans beat the Japanese, then the USSR, and then finally Great Britain. That's 3 pretty powerful opponents to take down to get that top spot, so they deserve it. And frankly, it's probably a good thing that the British did not win that, because everyone would have been crying in the comment section anyway. Alright, that was some TABS World War II gameplay, and there we go. We have our answers. The Germans have the best army according to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Now, if you want to see some more TABS World War II gameplay, there'll be a card in the top right corner of the screen. But wait, if you have not clicked off the video yet and you're not subscribed, then make sure you do that right now. Hit that subscribe button, also hit that bell icon so that you're notified when these TABS battles go live. Also, if you want to help the channel grow, don't forget to comment and like down below. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you again in the next TABS gameplay.